Okay, we're the only attendee right now. Okay, great.
Yes.
We have 2 participants a second ago. Oh, they left.
They left. They don't like us.
Okay. All right, this meeting is being recorded. We currently have 0 remote participants. For remote participants, please make sure you're using the most current version of Zoom or an updated web browser. Certain functionality may be disabled if the app or browser is not updated. You must register using the link on the top of the agenda. Click raise hand when you wish to speak and click unmute once you've been called to speak. You may also submit written comments by emailing me, Jackie Kaliiaa, at jkeliaa@alamedaca.gov. Comments submitted during the meeting before the conclusion of the public comment section will be read into the record. My email address is also on the meeting's agenda. If a remote participant is having difficulty, I suggest you call using the number 669-444-9171, meeting ID 896-4208-1044. This information is also at the top of the agenda. People participating via telephone can press *9 to raise their hand or *6 to unmute. For in-person participation, a speaker slip must be submitted to speak on any item. Speaker slips are located at the chair over there with a pen. If a commissioner would like to speak, please physically raise your hand and the chair will acknowledge your request. The chat function has been turned off. The meeting is, oh, sorry, there you go. That's you.
All right, the meeting is now called to order. The time is 6:03 p.m.
All right, commissioners. Commissioner Liz Rush,
Present.
Commissioner Robert Ferguson,
Present.
Commissioner Peter Platzkummer.
Here.
All right. Commissioner Lisa Martin,
Here.
Commissioner James Martin,
Here.
staff Jackie Kaliiaa, present, staff Dwayne Dahlman.
Here.
All right.
Hey, comments from the audience may concern matters either on or not on the agenda, but must deal with matters subject to the jurisdiction of the Public Arts Commission. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Comments concerning matters on this evening's agenda will be heard when that item is called. Kaliiaa, do you have any items to read into the record?
I do not.
Okay, raise your hand if you'd like to provide public comment unrelated to an item on the agenda. Is there anyone out there?
Yes, there is.
Cool. Yes.
We have a comment from Rachel Campos.
Okay.
Okay, and
Hi,
Rachel.
can you guys hear me?
Hi,
Yes.
Rachel, yes.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi.
Hello, commissioners. Rachel Campos, Day Ivanov from Radium Presents. And I just wanted to share a thank you and a reminder that Circus Bella is going to be joining us at Radium Runway this Saturday. They have 2 performances at 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. And just wanted to say a huge thank you to the Public Arts Commission through our cultural programming grants. This project is being made possible from your efforts. So I really, really appreciate it and hope to see some folks out there on Saturday.
Awesome. Thank you for that reminder, Rachel.
Okay, so that brings us
Okay.
to the regular agenda and 3A, which is approving the draft meeting minutes from our meeting on June 30th.
Anybody wish to, I'm all
Come on,
fuddled.
get it together.
It's okay. Play the day.
I motion
What's going
to
on over there?
approve, if everybody agrees, I motion to approve the meetings as.
Second.
Okay, second by James Martin. And then do we have a vote across the board? Do we
All
have to
those
vote?
in
I would just
favor?
say aye.
Aye.
All right,
Acclamation.
That was 5
Got it.
yeses.
thank you. All right, and next is the regular agenda item, which is 4A, recommendation to review the draft physical public art request for qualifications. And that was all submitted to the group. I can also pull it up on the screen if folks would like to review it.
Anyone?
Okay, 1 second. Don't mind me, I will pull it up, but you guys can discuss it.
Okay.
this, and I don't know why I missed this. You can begin with clarified questions, or you can wait until I pull it up. It's your call.
Yeah,
We could
let's
go
jog
through
everybody's
the
memory.
three main,
Sorry?
we could go through on the screen at least the three main
Sure.
sections that we were requesting feedback on.
Gosh. We have too many folders that look the same. Public art.
Which is
Number 7.
section 2, 4, and 5.
All right, we're just gonna throw it in this one. Okay, give me 2 seconds. I don't know why it's not in there. Stand by.
While she's pulling that up, does anyone have any clarifying questions?
Okay, control.
Kind of mixed into comments.
Okay.
Is this, well, I have one,
Yes.
is this, all we're doing is defining a request for a physical art, is that correct? This is just the overview, this isn't actually a request by someone to present some art.
Oh, no, this is for the forthcoming public art call for Washington
Very
Park.
good, that's it.
So this is just the first stage of it, which is
I'm
the
sorry, I
request.
missed the last meeting.
Sure, no, it's okay. It's just a request for qualifications. So this would be us disseminating this to the world, encouraging
Okay.
people to submit their qualifications, and then proceeding through the RFP process thereafter.
Got it.
But we wanted the commissioners to review it and provide us any feedback or comments on it. So we want to make sure when we do eventually put this out that we've got everyone's comments and ideas and feedback in it.
Any other clarifying questions? No. Are there any public comments regarding the draft of the physical public art request for qualifications?
Let's see if I have any comments. I do not. Usually
No
they raise their
comments.
hands.
Okay. We're going to close the public comment section then.
Thanks for your patience on this.
Sure.
We have it up.
All righty.
And let me go ahead and share my screen so that the recording will have this up as well. Oh, come on. Where's the share screen button?
They keep moving.
When you need it. All right, we are sharing screen. We're in business. Okay.
Okay.
I'll start off here and we can keep going.
So in summary, we approved 2 spots.
The two architects.
Oh, did we
was
not?
one,
Hold on.
because he wasn't here.
Oh, you weren't? Okay. Let me.
No, I did, I gleaned
Thank you,
some
Jack.
information, so I actually have a little bit, you know. But actually, I should have, not this up earlier, maybe, is there a point in the meeting where I can talk about something that I want questions answered?
Is it about this or something else?
Well, it's a peripheral issue. It's more like a conflict of interest issue. So I don't know when that's appropriate.
Let's do that. Let's do that after we discuss this part, and then we can go to yours. Is that?
Should just tell me when it's appropriate.
Okay.
Okay, so here is the draft RFQ. Obviously, we don't have any dates in there right now because that remains to be seen, but we're hoping to do this in the next couple months. And if we scroll down, oops.
So we just stop you when we have something.
Yeah, we can do that. We'll just kind of scroll through it and see if anyone has any comments about anything. So we have the introduction and background, project overview, summary, a schedule. We provide some guidance and information on what is to come if you are in fact selected. As some of you may know, when it comes to applying for public funds, the administration of that process can be a little onerous. And so we want any applicant to be aware of what's to come. They're gonna have to have a business license, they're gonna have insurance, et cetera. So that's all included here. And we're going to include appendices, the service provider agreement, an example of what that looks like. It's lengthy, it's a lot. But again, that's part of doing business with the city. A sample certificate of insurance, and also additionally insured, as well as the public art master plan, just so folks know where our public art program is. The introduction provides a little bit of information about the city of Alameda, talks about the scope of the services. It indicates here that right now there are 2 sites within Washington Park for future physical art. Location 1, which is near the playground. Location 2, which is toward the entrance of the intersection of Central Avenue and 8th Street. And it indicates that ultimately one of the 2 locations will be selected when we finally get to the point of actually proposing a piece of art for the site. And then here's a map, location 1, location 2. We provide some background information about what the project goals are. We want to enrich the park experience, provide inclusivity, belonging, and play, and where appropriate, have an interactive element for the piece of art if possible, and also to just celebrate the surrounding community, culture, and reference the park's history if possible in the resulting art. Moving forward, when we talk about the budget, this is something I also want to discuss with you as a group, because we had last discussed $250,000 as a total. So I did talk to my colleagues who have previously managed this program, and we set aside $50,000 to hopefully cover everything. So that would include site preparation. As you know, those costs that we received from Matt Nolan from Rec and Park, is we're looking at approximately $70,000 at the worst, $90,000 at the worst for the location number 2. And we're looking at covering the permit fees, the city. Permit fees will probably set us back about $3,000 to $4,000 depending on the size and the scope and scale of the construction. And then we also would be wanting to put the artwork plaque on the art and cover that cost, as well as any contingency. So if there's anything that we discover in the process. So I did talk with our colleagues, and there will be surprises. And so the way we will account for that is if we do go over budget, that we would have to come back to the Public Art Commission to approve those additional costs. And that's what's been done in the past. So for example, for Rock Spinners, with the artist Zach Coffin, they had to come back a couple of times to confirm additional funds. So I just want to set everyone's expectations now that that may happen when we're in the midst of this process. So we have our idea, which is $200,000 for the overarching art piece, which will also include the artist fee, and $50,000 set aside for the site prep, the permits, the plaque, as well as any contingency, but we might have to come back depending on how that all unfolds.
How are you defining site prep? Oh, sorry.
Sure, so site preparation, which we included in our last staff report, is everything from the concrete pad, so installation of the pad, any footing that's necessary. It also includes possibly illumination if we choose that that's a priority for this piece. It might not be. It also includes, so that's electrification essentially. It also includes any modifications to the sod. We might have to take some grass out, might have to put some grass back in, depending on how that process looks. And just the overall construction sites of installing the art and ensuring that the engineering is there to make sure it's installed safely and properly and will be able to withstand the lifetime of the artwork.
Is there anything in these costs that is taken over by Rex and Park?
No.
Where did the number for site preparation, did they get, is that just a number that was just plugged in? Or did you get any costing on that from, say, a contractor?
We did get costing, so we spoke with Matt Nolan, who manages our park system for Rec and Park.
Okay.
And he recently ran a concrete installation of a scoreboard at Estuary Park. And so we used some of those concrete estimates to set up our site preparation estimates. And they're detailed in the last staff report. And it is extensive, it's a lot, but it's basically the worst case scenario. So worst case scenario, we're looking at approximately $70,000 in site preparation fees. So that's mostly concrete installation, electrification, and any possible irrigation issues. They have a lot of sprinkler systems and they might have to get moved around. So those are the best case estimates that we received from Rankin Park. Okay, any other questions on budget? And then I can move, if not, I can move forward. So in terms of submission requirements, we're asking that they submit through Submittable, which is the same process that we use for our cultural arts grants. And that's the one and only way they can submit. And we're asking for a letter of interest and experience. So they tell us who they are, what their experience is, and what their experience is in fabricating public art, and what's going to be important for them to consider. We're looking for a resume with a biography, and there is the possibility of more than one. There could be a team that could apply, and we can keep that or cut it out. We've only ever had individual artists in the past, but that's not to say that we can't have maybe 2 or 3 people, because I know some people like to collaborate. So there is an option built into this RFQ for that, and so we're asking for photos and bios of everyone involved. And then next, we're asking for them to include a portfolio of past artwork that they've done, to give us information on the materials that were used for that, dimensions, the year that it was built, and a brief description about the artwork. And the next part is we have the review process. So,
Can I stop you there?
Mhm.
I have 2 things. I have one for the paragraph before of the artist eligibility. I don't understand why we're asking for a minimum of 5 years, when we're anyway using that as one of the criteria later with experience. I feel like it gives us a chance. Like, this isn't a large art piece comparatively. It doesn't have a ton of budget. It feels like this is a chance for less experienced artists to come with a sculpture, and they might be willing to do something more interesting. Since we're already judging experience later in the selection criteria, I would stick with that, or have something like a minimum of 2 years or whatever, but give people a chance to come in with less experience.
Yeah.
That's my first comment. My second comment that is more specifically for the submission requirements, I would, you're only writing, please include up to 10 images of fabricated work. I would put in a minimum 2, so minimum 5.
Minimum of 5. You think 10 is too many?
And 10, like out of experience, 10 is a lot.
10's a lot.
Yeah, that's
Guys,
very experienced person.
really, like, I'm not sure if I know a bunch of friends of mine who really have problems with getting enough good photos of their art, and 10 is,
Yeah, we've been at it a while, I've got 12.
yeah.
So I would think 10 would be a lot.
Yeah, I would put in a minimum and say they want to do 10, yay, but like a minimum
So
of 4
are
or
we
5.
saying
Minimum of 5 for the portfolio?
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Okay.
And I mean, with both those comments, I think our intention is to not limit.
Excuse me?
With both of those comments, we're trying to not limit who's submitting.
Yeah.
You don't want to shrink that pool down to the same
Exactly, yeah.
kind of people who can call.
Well, I also think like public art applications in general are a chance for younger artists to come in and try it out. Especially in a city like here. I mean, this is not San Francisco where they're only art for artists or
Yeah, big
superbly
names.
experienced, but I think this is a chance for us.
And just look at the back, here's an iPad there. That's going over to San Francisco.
Yeah, that's our first large art piece.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Cool.
Yeah. One of the best.
So we can definitely change the minimum to 5 in the portfolio. And then just to explain a little bit of the rationale behind the 5 years is that, yes, it would be great to have this be an opportunity for amateur artists, but I find that the navigating the city process in particular is the challenge. So private organizations like Burning Man or others probably don't have the level of insurance requirements or the level of sort of oversight in terms of all of this. So, and maybe I'm wrong, but that's why I put in 5 years. Like, let's make sure the person has some experience before applying.
But I mean, they have to do that anyway. Like at this point, we're talking about an RFQ. We're not
True.
We're not even close to insurance requirements. I feel like at this point we can open it up enough to get enough candidates in, and then look at it. Is it realistic that there's going to be a lot? And I mean, an artist who's doing this for 2 years is already quite experienced, actually. Like, is it realistic that gives us a chance to see it. If there's someone who really feels like interesting, why not?
Yeah, I think
So-
at this point, we wanna see more than less.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah, it's not like a one-off person.
Yeah.
You know, they're gonna have somebody at work.
To Jackie's point, though, in the past, we have had experiences where less experienced artists did apply for this sort of grant and really fell down on the job because they didn't have the experience to deal with all the fingers of the city that touch physical art that is permanent, so.
I agree with that, but then essentially 30% of our judgment is their experience. Like, plus another 40 with the portfolio, and I would expect that someone with more experience in general has a more elaborate portfolio. Like, that's 2/3 of our points that are going into that. Like, I just don't see why we need to close the pool so early. And I very much agree that it's a bigger hassle, but
Yeah.
who knows if the hassle might be worth it.
Well, as long as the people who are choosing the art have the experience to say, hey, maybe this person can't really pull this together.
Well,
I think
but
that's-
you're asking, I mean, look at all the additional information you're asking for. They gotta jump through a lot of hoops just
Yes.
to get this submission in. So I don't think they're coming in naively. I think they know that there's stuff you're gonna need. There's certificates of insurance, so they don't, I mean, it's a process. Everybody has to learn it.
Yeah.
But, and I would say anybody that's put together at least 5 bigger pieces of art has jumped through these hoops.
Okay.
So we set the threshold at 5 years minimum experience, we could lower it.
And my suggestion would be 2 years. That's not nothing, like, there's still, like, that combined with what comes afterwards to kind of select them, feels like,
I think that's a little light.
2 years?
At least 3.
I would do 3 and find.
I'd go with 3.
Yeah, I would say 3.
Because that gives them a chance to produce more than one work. 2 years might be just one.
Yeah.
Let's do 3.
Okay, I'll agree with
Yeah.
3.
I mean, I feel like we'll have a good sense of their overall submission, regardless of how many years they have, right? You'll feel like this is a coherent.
We're interviewing these people,
Yeah.
right?
Well, actually,
You're gonna know,
we are
you're gonna
not.
know the guys.
The panel will
Put
know.
it together.
Panel will be
You're
you
gonna know
guys.
the ones with the.
They have to get by the
tinfoil
panel first.
hats.
Which will have a member of the PAC on it.
Yeah,
And that brings us to the next part. Were there any questions else that you had, Peter?
No, that was all for this section.
Okay, so moving on to the panel review process. So we're convening a panel of subject matter experts. We would like a member from our Public Art Commission, so we'll be reaching out to you to confirm who that will be. And then we also want a member from the Rec and Park Commission. We're actually on the agenda for their September meeting. I will be presenting to the Rec and Park Commission to give them an update about this project. They are aware of it, but this will be like a formal information sharing, and then also a request for a volunteer to participate in the panel. And we're also going to have a member from the Recreation and Parks Department. Obviously, they do a lot of execution of work there at the parks. We want them to be part of it as well. And then up to 2 members from the neighboring, the surrounding neighborhood, basically, of Washington Park. It'd be great to find someone like right there within a few blocks, just so we know that they're part of that neighborhood and participate in activities at the park and have a really good understanding of sort of what the community is looking for. There was also a suggestion, and I would like to pitch it, it didn't make it into here, but to have a member from our Alameda County Regional Public Art Administrators Network. Alameda County does run and commission their own public art projects, and I thought it'd be neat to not just have a city lens, but also like a regional lens. So if folks are okay with it, that would be a 5th and or 6th person, depending on how many neighborhood people we get to participate in the panel. But we haven't sent an invitation yet. I want to confirm that folks are on board with this process first.
What was the name of that group?
It's the Northern California Public Art Administrators Network, and it's run by Alameda County. And Rachel Osajima is the Public Art Commissioner. I think she's the director of the Public Art Commission, but she has a team of folks that handle public art for the city. So we would want the person who does physical art installation. They do a lot of cultural art stuff as well, but we want their contact who does physical
And
art.
so how much authority would that panel have? Is it still under our
They would
We
make,
still overseeing them.
well, yeah, they would make recommendations, but ultimately they would be
Yeah.
selecting who the artists are. So from the RFQ process, they would be reviewing all the applications. And similar to how we deliberate cultural arts would rank and get to a point where they select the top, I think possibly top 3, top 4. And then from there, those top applicants will be given a stipend and will be given 2 months to come up with a piece of art, like a small sort of sample of what it'll look like, a model. And then from there, we will be ultimately selecting who that final artist is and which site within the park they'll be developing that artwork. So that's the process. But we also do, because this is public art, this is public art dollars, we do have to engage the public. So our intention and hope is that once we get to the point where we have the models, we bring them to the park and we go one weekend at Washington Park and let people vote. And we'll do sort of like a tabling just to get some recommendations from the public about what they like and what they're interested in. So that's a process that our peers over at Berkeley do, and they find that it helps because sometimes the public is not too excited, or they're very excited, and it'd be a really good opportunity for us to figure that out. But yes, ultimately they'll be making a recommendation, and we'll be moving forward with it at that point, which is why we have a member of the PAC on it. But again, we've talked about this at our last meeting. If there's something that folks don't like, or if we want to redo the RFQ process and cast the net again, we can also do that.
But we wouldn't in any way be beholden to the review panel's decisions. Those are recommendations, or
I think it would be, I think the purpose of having a member from the PAC, having a member from Rec and Park, is that ultimately we would move forward with those decisions. I mean, if there are major concerns, I think it's why we have a member of the PAC on the panel. But
Traditionally, it's, the panel decides, it goes to the commissioners who see the finals. So,
You get the final 4 or 5 artists.
yeah, however many, yeah.
Like are we already in the comment section?
yeah, we're talking about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
My only comment about this would be that, considering that we are literally elected to do this, I don't understand why it's only one of the pack. Like, my suggestion would be 2, especially if we're adding someone from the Alameda County Network. I'm totally fine not being on it, but it also feels like with the background that we're having, and with the fact that Parks and Recs and Park actually has 2 people in it, with one from the commission, one from Recs and Park, my suggestion would be to increase that to the same amount for the commission.
I like that one, yeah.
And to clarify, it would be one from the commission and one from staff.
I would say the only, I would like that only a Peter will be.
No.
There you go.
Peter makes the ultimate decision.
Actually, I'm very happy.
Peter is judge, jury, and, okay.
Peter has to go, saying it out loud.
No, Peter doesn't want it, but at the end of the day,
I think, Peter, you're gonna get it. I don't know. I feel like.
my suggestion would be, I'm totally fine if staff or public art commission, I just feel like we should balance this more out and have two from this group in it if Rex and Park has 2.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, this is a decision with our money,
Yeah.
and I don't just want to nod about it. But I trust everyone in here enough to come up with a decision, but it would be nice to have more.
Yeah, it's just, one.
That being said, someone has to volunteer to do this.
Well, that's.
And it's gonna be a long process. It's gonna be many, many months. It's gonna be,
Well,
And I've done it before, so.
Oh,
you're on it and you're in
let
it.
me-
I'll do it.
then
Locked
let
and
me-
loaded.
Good.
I will do
Yeah,
that.
good.
Then let me suggest to change the sentence to the panel will have up to 2 members of.
Oh, up to, there you go.
Up to-
Oh, of the city's public art commission?
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay, and Peter has to be the,
No, I do not.
no, actually Lisa would be like,
Yes.
actually. Because you have a good eye for things and you listen.
Yes.
You're an extremely good listener.
I also think like we should balance diversity a bit in this context.
Yeah, not one redneck's all you need, so you can be the other person.
And my feeling is that Rex Park already comes with you guys.
I think it would be great to have 2, one who's been on the commission a bit longer and one who doesn't.
So
What
don't
is
you-
that?
Is this a motion? Does it say?
We're not deciding.
We don't have to decide, we do not have to decide tonight.
Well, you,
No, no.
you-
That's
your
fine.
name-
We're getting there,
Your
but,
name's to
I'll
the
put my
hat,
name in, 'cause
so,
I
yeah, your
enjoy
names
this
are
kind
in.
of process.
but I think this is good to start thinking about it, 'cause
Yeah.
we're gonna get to that point where you guys vote on who those two members will be, so this is good to start that discussion.
That's why for the RFQ, I would call it up to 2.
Okay,
We can figure this out, but I feel like it would give us a chance to have an actual say about it.
sure. Any other comments about the public art panel review process?
Not about this section.
All
I
right.
have a comment about the map, which I know we already passed.
Sure, here, I can scoot back. Let's go back to the map. Oops.
This was my little bugaboo from the last time we talked about the map. I just feel like the stars and the squares don't quite do it for me. And
Mhm.
I think as an artist applying, I would wanna see more exactly where I can work. And so having some kind of shading that's a little more generous than what
Mhm.
we see here could be helpful for the artist. Because those squares, at least in my memory, do not quite align with the spaces we were talking about.
Mhm.
Right, yeah, because when we went out to the site, this has changed a little bit then. 'Cause when we went out to the site that day, we all walked out and walked around. Wasn't it way over this? I'm looking at site number 2.
Number 2?
Yeah, because the number 1's near the playground, correct?
Yeah, but I also thought number 1 was sort of more expansive.
Yeah.
This feels like it constrains it more than it needs to.
Mhm.
Because we were in
an
the
artist
corner,
might take this more
remember we
literally.
sat in that corner and looked at.
Clearly, number 2 is crossing the path in the red box, and that's not.
My suggestion in this context would also be to have a photo from the side, not just from the
On
bottom.
the ground.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just that
Yeah.
people have a very-
So like an aerial and then like
Yeah.
a side view.
maybe, yeah.
Google views.
I mean, I'm hoping whoever applies actually takes the time to go.
I would.
My expectation is
That'll
that
be
they
the
would
first
do the
question.
homework.
I think that's
You go out there, you
Yeah.
want to know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
I would expect that too, but not necessarily for the RFQ. Like the whole point of the RFQ is that you don't really have to do that yet. So
You don't have to. But I think if you were excited about doing art
They
there,
would
I'd be
walk
like,
out
yeah,
there.
let's go take a look. What
Yeah.
can I do? What's my
Oh,
canvas?
yeah, you go, first thing you do.
Yeah.
I think with site 2, there was an idea that it could cross the path.
Like be like a archway. I mean, it could be anything.
And,
It doesn't have to cross the path.
So instead of a square, maybe
It
a,
would be like a tilted arc
But
situation
the
where you
shading-
can't physically
the
enter
shading
the park.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that would be.
As a troll and you have to pay the toll and that's how you get into Washington Park. That's what I would do.
We need a troll.
I like it.
Sorry, was there anything else?
very similarly.
Yeah, was there anything else, Jack, that you,
Uh,
sorry, I
no,
might have interrupted you,
I think-
sorry.
Yeah, I think the shading is nice
Okay. We could definitely do the shading,
Okay.
and the ground photos too.
yeah, to the side. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about selection criteria. The goals of the city, the master plan, the public art commission, and then we have 5 points set aside for local preference bonus for anyone who's a resident of the city. So the letter of interest is 30 points. That's the compatibility of the artist to the project goals. Experience is 30 points with a project of similar scope and scale, comparable professional experience to address the requirements of working with the public sector. Again, I know that doesn't sound like it's a huge priority, but it can be because administratively this thing is gonna be a lot. You're gonna have to constantly work with different departments within the city, rec, us, construction, et cetera. So it is something that it could make and break the process in terms of smoothness, timeline, all of that. So that's why for us, it would be lovely to see that the applicants have experience working with the public sector and public funds. The portfolio, 40 points, artistic excellence and originality is shown in the submitted images of previous work and image list. And then again, the local preference points for residents of the city of Alameda. Oops, skipped over. And then the selection process, the applicants will be screened by the review panel. The panel will select the pool of qualified artists. Again, we haven't identified how many, but we're hoping it's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 to 4 that folks want to move forward with the review, keep going. The review panel will submit their recommendations to the Public Art Commission. And then here's a schedule. This is by no means totally complete, but it's subject to change. But for 2025, we want to launch this RFQ. So this document will go out to the world in November. no later, and we'll market it, we will advertise it for many weeks prior to November. We want to let folks know it's coming. And then applications will be open for 8 weeks. January is the deadline. Then we'll in February have the RFQ reviewed, shortlisted by the review panel. So we'll be putting the packets together of all the applications. And then we will give them 8 weeks to develop a mock-up. So this is the little model. Either it could be clay, it could be, depending on what materials they're using, they choose that as their discretion. And then we'll receive that from the artist. We'll conduct outreach in the parks, showing folks what these artist statements look like, what their concepts are, what's the idea behind it, and then garner feedback on the designs. Review panel will select the grantees. So this is where we say, yes, we've decided artist A is gonna get this, and they're gonna get that $200,000 grant. And then they're actually gonna get into the development and fabrication. And the goal is for all of this to be complete by April of 2027 with a ribbon cutting and an unveiling. We take photos. The mayor typically attends these events. There's, you've done this, so it's very fun, and it's
It is fun.
a culmination of years of work. So it is exciting to
Public
celebrate
comes
when you
out,
finally get the permanent piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any questions at all about the timeline?
Yes.
Yes.
Actually, before we do timeline, can I go back to the selection criteria?
Sure.
Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Did you have any comments on that?
I do have that one. Go ahead, go first.
Selection criteria, about the local preference,
Mhm.
the 5 points. I remember when we were doing the cultural arts program grant cycle, a few of us commissioners were saying, oh, it would be helpful to be able to have that not be a binary, 0 or 5.
Either or.
We could do a spectrum.
Mhm.
For there, it's like organizations or the artists they're using for their programming, that it was a little, would have been helpful to be able to do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here, I'm not sure, but since it's just the artist, there's not an organization, well, maybe it is more clear cut, but I was hoping to hear from others if maybe we could be open to not having it be binary.
Well, I do have a question. It's actually true. What if the artist doesn't live in the city of Alameda, but the workshop is in the city of Alameda?
There would be an example where it'd be helpful to.
Yeah,
That seems like a,
happens a lot. You know, my students down at Hayward, I live here. So that I would still be here.
That could just be
And
a live
a lot
or
of-
work in the city.
And a lot of people,
Then you could.
so no, I
adjust
just
that.
mean not many people live and work in the same place. Where their studio is where
Right.
they're creating, but is it a resident criteria?
So
But
you,
just add the
You
or
could
work.
just, yeah.
And-
I think those
or
both
work.
seem.
Yeah, that's what I would prefer.
Yeah, that's good.
You gotta live there, you're saying.
Yeah.
So if you're,
You get the
if you
points.
live or work in Alameda, then you get a 5-point local preference.
You know, and ultimately, that may make no difference. Maybe nobody who applies lives or works here, so.
That's true.
And it's 5 points outside of the 100.
yeah, it's a relatively
Really
ceremonial
not
kind
much.
of-
That still needs something.
No, it does.
It
It
does.
could make or break a
It's
tie.
that little over the.
Yes, it's a little over the top, I guess.
It got me, well,
Well, we can
that's a,
table the non-binary question for maybe the next cultural arts grant, where I think it does make more of a difference,
Mm-hmm.
because you're dealing with more than one artist,
Yeah,
uh,
with many, many artists typically, yeah.
and an organization, so it's just a more complex situation that I think would benefit from.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. We could definitely discuss when we're getting towards the 2026 cultural arts applications, which will be here before we know it, because we've released them in January. So, I know. I haven't even gotten all my grantees under contract yet, so it's a lot of work. Okay, so any other point, did you have any other comments about that particular? Okay, I'll scroll back down to the schedule. Oops, go back, there we go.
I have a few points. What I don't see in the schedule, what I wonder if you should do or not, would be a call or an FAQ with artists. Especially with the shortlisted one, and it feels like something that would be more than worth it to do.
Oh, you mean like a Zoom call with,
The Zoom call where we.
answering.
Like an orientation,
Sort of like you did.
kind of like what we did
Orientation.
last time for the,
Yeah, I
Like
think
a
that was
webinar?
super helpful. I don't think we need to do this for the RFQ, but for the panelists, it would be nice to do something like that.
like the top 3 or 4 that are selected, like have an orientation about,
Whoever's shortlisted.
okay,
Yeah.
orientation for the short list.
Then, the fabrication time in here is very short,
Mm-hmm.
September to November.
Yeah, that's unreasonable at any level.
So we should push it out a few more
You
months?
need, I would, 3 to 4 months for anybody to create, really, if it's large.
Mhm.
Wouldn't design development kind of flow?
No, we're talking about
into
fabrication. You're talking about literally picking something up and starting to make it.
The problem with design development with a city is you have to go forward and backward so many times because of the permitting
building
requirements
permits,
and
yeah.
structural engineering, like, it's just tight. Like, I mean, if you do the design development in August, there's not really a wait that you have structural engineering ready at the end of August. So it's gonna squeeze into September, if you're unlucky, October. We're missing December in this, just saying, but like, what I could see is that the actual fabrication time is September until February, and that January is actually not installation commences, but a site preparation.
Yeah,
Because no one needs 3 months for installation, like they need 2 or 3 weeks. But we might have a site preparation early because the concrete needs to go in early. So I would replace the January one with site preparation and would say March for installation.
Yeah, you could just say September to January.
And then,
That's
then you would actually have September until February.
And December is kind of your month where you may or may not be able to give it your attention.
Yeah.
But now and then you got, October's not in there either, so there's plenty of months to put in without really upsetting the whole overall schedule.
How would it change the overall ribbon cutting and unveiling?
I think you'll keep it the same, just that it looks better. Like, call it September to February is the fabrication time, or January is nothing but site preparation from the city.
Oh, yeah.
And then March is when the installation time starts. Yeah.
Sorry, what was March, what was that?
March is just installation without kind of comments or anything.
Yeah, so you got January, February, you can do February, March with installation, and that's enough. If it's ready, you just set it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a week thing.
Yeah, I mean, unless it's one of those, they come out and they gotta build it on site.
We'll see.
Yeah, we have to see what the numbers are.
That'd be bad, and then what other, more questions? I have one question that doesn't really fit in here, but it doesn't really fit anywhere else. I know I'm the one who just cut the budget, but I'm also tempted to suggest that the shortlisted artists get a mini grant to make their mock-up.
Says it's
Well, it's in there.
A stipend? Yeah.
Are you doing that?
Yeah.
Where's the money in our budget?
We haven't built it in, but last time they gave 1,500 per artist.
Okay.
I would imagine just because of inflation, that was 2017. So I would imagine because of inflation, we're probably looking at like $2,000 per artist.
So we're essentially talking about $10,000 more that we need to fit in our budget.
Possibly,
Okay.
yeah.
And just to make sure that we have that, this information isn't in here, so this will be, like, I think that's a really good advertisement for you as a city when you're able to say in your RFQ that there's a stipend for artists.
The model.
That makes a huge difference.
Yeah, Google
Yeah.
did that. I did that with Google, they gave us $5,000.
That would be
That's
more.
good.
They have a bit more money, yes, they do.
Yeah.
Although not anymore,
But I mean, 2,000 is not bad for.
not at all. You'd be giving an artist something that would at least.
For their
Maybe
time
worth
too,
their while,
and then the energy
yeah.
they're putting into it,
Yeah.
and the materials and, yeah. that
Yeah,
kind
and
of
a
thing.
small point on that,
It feels like we should just vote about increasing our budget by 10K in that case.
Increase from 250 to 260?
Yeah. Just,
I mean,
because it's
But that's
200
for our
50
internal
for-
budget though.
And 10 for the stipends if necessary.
Sorry, what was that?
Or we vote about that when
When we get there?
it's shortlisted, but I feel like this is outside of the 250 that we just discussed.
Yeah, so I could add so what I'll do then is if we scoot back to this section here, I can just add that says, artist stipends. And then I can change the dollar amount to 60,000, but that would be 260.
Yeah, and then I would put, I would mention the stipends in this, because this is really, like, that makes such a huge difference for an artist. If they get
Okay, so
stipends.
add that the city will be
Yep.
funding stipends for the selected artists.
Yeah.
Okay. So that does, it does up our ante. And it potentially could grow, so.
Yeah.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Or no, go ahead.
No, that's all.
Okay, I just have a real small, it's a semantic thing anyway. It's not a mock-up, it's a maquette,
A maquette?
Okay,
M-A-C-H-E-T-T-E.
what is the French word for it? Yes.
It's.
I just
art-
used our internal language from the
No,
previous
that's
time we
fine.
did it.
I'm just-
Yeah,
It's people, and everybody. who-
They'll know what
in
that
this
is.
business knows what it is.
That's true.
okay, we can add that in for sure. Any other comments on timeline or,
No.
okay,
No, I think that's, you spread that out now, and that gives people, like,
right,
I mean, God, you start talking about September, November, it's like, whoa.
It's tight. It's really tight.
Especially, if it- you know, it's kind of hard to make, and it's gonna be pretty, it should be fairly large.
right.
It's not gonna be anything. So it says all the time.
So under additional information, we're just sharing with folks that eventually they'll need a business license. They'll need to enter into a legal agreement with the city and, as well as provide certificate of insurance that meets the city's requirements.
I had a question there, because the appendixes were part of this. What insurance requirement does the city have? Is this just liability insurance for the business, or is it anything else?
Oh, sorry, for the certificate of insurance?
Yeah.
It usually, it's a requirement, I think, for their ability to fabricate, that kind of thing. So I have to double check. I
Or
haven't.
should- Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I have to double check, but I'm working with the city attorney's office on reviewing the draft agreement right now. And so we'll get to a point, that's why it's not included, because we're in the process of modifying it, but there is gonna be some stronger language in there that requires certain repairs to be done, if they're within the first couple of years of the art, that they'll be the responsibility of the artist. So there's a couple of pieces in there that we're gonna modify that we've run into trouble in the past with these agreements, so.
So it's your-
Yeah, but that's not,
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
that's not the insurance, that's not your insurance.
No, that's different.
COIs are generally, for art, go right up to the point that the art is placed.
Exactly.
And then as soon as it's placed,
Yeah.
it becomes the city's art, liability.
It becomes part of our collection at that
Yes.
point.
And that's usually just the liability insurance.
Then, yeah, that's all you need.
Yeah.
You don't need auto because it's.
Yeah, they'll have to request a waiver. It's
Well,
administratively, it's a bit of a task, but our risk management department requires waiver requests.
well, since we're carrying your art, you're gonna have to put additional insured on there too.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's all included as appendices to this document.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they'll have exact examples of like, this is what a certificate of insurance looks like. This is what additionally insured endorsement reads, and we have exact language for them for that. So that way they're not surprised, because we have included this, for example, for cultural arts, and we've had a lot of people get surprised. What do you mean I need auto insurance? What do you mean I need a certificate? And so even if we put it up there, so that's something we can absolutely underscore during our orientation for those number of artists that are selected, so they really understand sort of unfortunately, there's a lot of paperwork at that certain point, so, yeah.
And also, being, you know, like myself, I can give them, sitting in the orientation, I can give them some sources for insurance companies that will cover art.
Right,
It's not an easy thing to find. There's a couple of people that everybody knows, he knows them too.
Yeah, that's why you better shut up and just get a general liability insurance. Yeah.
What did I do?
No, I mean, as an artist.
Oh, yeah, just, you get a low profile.
Just be
Yeah.
very,
and then there's the bottom line there is just general questions, they can reach out to me, and then similar to what we did last time, questions will be submitted to me, and then I will upload them to the RFP page, so that if anyone's looking, they can see all the responses, so they're all in the know about any outstanding questions.
So if you would do a call over here in that section,
What was that, sorry?
like if you would do a call, my suggestion would be to put it in this section.
Yeah, we can add that, like there's going to be an orientation once we get to that point, yeah.
Final artist is selected.
And that's on my cards.
Any other comments on the
Good.
RFQ?
Good refining of this
Yeah,
document,
a
you
lot
guys.
of-
Very good.
No,
Got my work cut out for me.
Good information.
Yeah.
That's great. So I think, are we at the end of the discussion and feedback section?
I believe
I think
so.
we-
Oh wait, there's a hand raised. Hold on.
Oops.
Hopefully Rachel did not raise her hand for a long time because I just saw it. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, I'm super excited about this. I'm now speaking as Rachel, the resident who lives around the corner from this park. So, yay, exciting. We have when it comes time to helping to form the panel, there is a very active Burbank Portola neighborhood group. And if I can be a resource in any way to publicize this to my neighbors who may potentially want to get involved, more than happy to be a resource.
Great, thank
That's
you.
fantastic.
Yeah, we're definitely planning to do an open call and receive applications, letters of interest essentially from anyone who's interested. And then from there, they'll be selected for the panel.
That's great.
And I was hoping to like reach out to our like West End Arts District folks too, to see like if any of their listservs can submit it so we get a good wide net. But that could be very helpful.
We can definitely do that too.
Thanks, Rachel.
Awesome. Awesome. So
That brings us
we
to
got it. I think that concludes it.
Yeah,
Okay, does this,
staff communication.
Do we need to vote for anything, or is this?
No, this is just review. This is not a recommendation to accept or decline. This is just reviewing.
Okay.
So it's just kind of like a homework session. Yeah.
okay, does the staff have any other items to communicate to the commission?
I do, yes.
Alrighty.
So just a bit of background for folks. Our Economic Development Department is partnering with Radium and the Alameda Chamber of Commerce to apply for the California Arts Council California Cultural Districts Grant Program. So this is a $10,000 matching grant program over the course of 2 years, and it comes with a state designation. It is a very competitive process, so we're going to put our best foot forward, but we don't know what the outcome will be. But just some background: City of Emeryville, for example, had a district that they submitted to the California Arts Council, and they received, I think, $5,000 for the first year, and then they got a much larger grant years later. I think they got $670,000 for that district thereafter. So even though it's small to start, there is the potential for it being larger over time. And this would be specifically for Alameda Point. So considering applying for Alameda Point as a cultural art district, obviously we have Radium Runway, we've got Beacon, and part of the application process is sort of calling out the existing inventory of arts in the point, and also any museums. So for example, Naval Air Museum would be included in that. So just a heads up that application is going out and it's due in August. So we're collaborating with them on that process and just submitting staff time. So we're not funding any of it, but just a heads up on that. So we'll let you know how that all goes.
Awesome.
And
That's
that's
it?
my update. Oh, we'll also go to the Circus Bella on the 26th.
Circus
I mean, I know
Bella,
Rachel already mentioned it,
yes.
but that's one of our cultural art grantees for this year as well. In fact, another one is Plain Air Paint Out, Frank Bett. That's from July 28th through August 2nd or 3rd.
Yeah.
Can't remember right now. That's also coming up, another July event. And what just happened was Radio Day by the Bay. So those are our July cultural art grantees that folks should check out if you're available.
Great. Awesome. Thank you.
I remember that I had asked if it's possible to add that to the public arts newsletters that go out these days.
Yeah, we sent one for the most recent July events. Many of them are not coming up until like September, October. So, but we got all the July ones in. I don't know if you guys are you guys are all hopefully signed up for
I
it?
don't think I am.
Okay, well let's get you signed up.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
I don't even, I didn't know that.
Do you receive it?
Nope.
You can go
Okay,
to the
who doesn't
website,
receive it?
go to the website
Okay.
and put your name in.
Yeah, I
I
can sign you guys all up.
Mine is that.
Yeah, I'll sign you up. It's fine.
Good.
Actually, they promote a lot of the cultural arts.
Oh, they do. He's big on that.
Yeah,
Being
yeah,
former
Former
chair.
president
Yeah,
of the Public Arts Commission.
yeah, that's a good one.
Adam Gillette.
That's right.
Okay, that's me for staff communication.
Okay, now we're on to commission communications, non-agenda. Are there any commissioner communications? I believe you said something.
Well, yeah, it's a discussion, and I'll make this short, because I'm not clear. I'm on the commission myself, and, happy to be here. My wife is not. But we make art for all over the place. We have a piece over at Freaka Park right now. We have pieces all over. But are we, because of my involvement here, are we not allowed to apply for, say, something like this? I don't know, because she's, it is us. So
As a
is
team.
that a true, well, to a certain extent, she's mostly it. But I don't wanna get into some,
I mean,
I don't wanna get into some shallow weeds here.
Well, if you think about it, it's gotta go through a committee, a wider committee than us.
Oh, yeah, I don't even
So
know.
if you make it through that.
Well, I don't know the legality, or if there is legality. I mean, I can recuse myself.
that seems like a situation where you should apply and recuse yourself to me.
Right.
I mean,
But I don't know if that's even fair.
Well, sure,
They're just,
That
people
seems-
would just,
but you're local, and I think
I am
that's
local.
awesome.
I mean, we have like 3 artists that are local, it would be sad to lose 30%.
Yeah.
This is
That's
true.
something we should be in.
but I don't wanna push it
Yeah,
unless I feel like it's something that's okay. That's
Yeah.
all I'm asking.
I'm gonna have to touch bases with our city attorney's office
There
just to
you
be
go.
sure. Cause I will say optically, if a member of the Public Art Commission is given a $200,000 grant,
Even if he recuses himself.
right,
and
through
we are all
through
familiar
the evaluation process.
Backroom deals, we're sitting, we're all smoking cigars in the
Yeah.
bathroom.
Let me ask, let me find out.
I just would.
Robert's
yeah.
gonna get it, I
Yeah,
can say.
I'll
Robert.
ask.
I don't wanna, because I don't want that.
No, I
can
understand.
take we can go elsewhere, we can
Yeah.
go. But I would love to put a piece here, in fact, one of the reasons I even hesitated to re-upping to this commission was because I wanted to
More
do one here,
objective.
and
Yeah.
and eventually I would hope I could put one here. Or
Right.
my wife could put one here,
Right.
that's what I'm saying, but I don't even know at that point whether they would say it's okay. We'll
Right.
do a former committee, Public Arts Commission.
I'll have to ask our city attorney's office and I'll get back to you on that.
Okay, that's not, there's no critical path here, it's just, I've
But
been
that's
thinking
good, that's a
about it
good
for a
point.
while.
Yeah, that's a
And
really
I don't
good
wanna
point.
say anything to it.
Because we have conflict of interest language for the cultural arts grants, but we don't, to my knowledge anyway, we pulled a lot of this from our last RFQ. So, to my knowledge, we don't have that, but I'll just double check.
And if it's a no, I'm not gonna quit.
Okay,
I'm gonna keep it.
all right.
Good.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Okay.
Any other communications?
That's all I have.
No? Okay, oral communications. Are there any oral communications?
I don't have any, no.
Okay. Then, this meeting is now adjourned at 6:59 PM.